of the coronavirus pandemic, information management is key.
I'm Cyril Stober.
Fatima Umar Buba.
Joseph Johnson.
Ian Ray John.
Muhammad Kudu Abubakar.
Jumwa Yusuf.
My name is Kirian Umaya.
Here in NTA, we're working very hard to make sure that everything we broadcast is accurate and up to date. Misinformation spreads very fast.
The social media has been a huge conveyor of misleading information from one individual to another, then to another set of groups. In a short while, it goes viral, and before you know it, it is all over the world.
There have been several misleading...
Good evening and thank you for joining us on the network service of the NTA on NTA Nationwide. I'm Najat Atutujani, commenting with stories from the security sector. Troops of the Nigerian Army have rescued 180 citizens, many of them students, at the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. Armed bandits in large numbers had attacked the institution late evening on Thursday and kidnapped several students and staff. The armed bandits broke into the institution by breaking a perimeter fence and encroached about 600 meters to attack the first facility. Following a distress call, troops of the Nigerian Army immediately moved to the school and engaged the armed bandits successfully, rescuing 180 citizens, 42 female students, 8 staff and 130 male students. About 30 students are yet to be accounted for. And earlier today, the Director General, Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, Ibadan, Professor Shola Adepoju, was on Panorama, where he also spoke about the ugly incident at the College of Forestry.
And I must appreciate the momentary response from the Nigerian military. The commandant himself led the team. They got into the campus at about 20 minutes after 12, and I think that was why they had to leave in a hurry. And they went beyond that, move all the other students from campus to the NTA, where they fed them this morning. So I must commend the quick intervention of the Nigerian military in particular, and we'll be in touch with the Commissioner of the State who's in charge of internal security. I think all of them are together and working closely to see how we can quickly come out of this. Thank you.
So how will this affect your institute, especially campuses outside your headquarters?
It's going to affect us seriously, and this is what part of what my minister has been pushing for, to see the return of our forest guard, to see how we can, because we have to establish forest, because this is the internationally demanded request. We have to continue to plant. That particular location about plantation, the one we jointly established together with JICA of Japan. And we, since the coming of the patient, we'll be expanding that coverage. So I think the earlier we have our forest guard, not that they will be able to confront these people, but at least they have a way of collecting their information and to inform the appropriate authority on time.
Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Timi Pre-Silva has denied any purported increase in the pump price of petrol. Addressing a press conference on the sidelines of a groundbreaking ceremony of a gas cylinder manufacturing facility in Lagos, the minister said neither the president as the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources nor himself approved any increase in the pump price of petrol. He blamed the purported new price regime of 209.61 to 212.61 naira per litre announced by the PPPRA on a mix-up in communication and apologized to Nigerians.
Of that information, I want to assure you that it is completely untrue. Neither Mr. President, who is the Minister of Petroleum Resources, nor myself, who deputized for him as Minister of State, has approved that the pump price of petrol be increased by 1 naira. I will therefore urge you to disregard this misleading information. You are all aware.
Stating that the federal government is not going back on full deregulation of the downstream oil sector, the minister said any change in pump price would only be decided after due consultation with all stakeholders. He therefore called on marketers to maintain the status quo and refrain from hoarding or creating artificial scarcity of the product. Meanwhile, despite assurance from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation that the corporation was not contemplating any raise in the ex-depot price of petrol in March, not to jeopardize ongoing engagements with organized labor and other stakeholders on an acceptable framework which would not expose the ordinary Nigerian to any hardship, the recurring speculation on increased petrol pump price is becoming one too many, with motorists at the receiving end. Lydia Sampson has a situation report.
Erratic situation around petrol pump price motorist is creating uncertainty in the petroleum downstream sector. A visit to petrol stations in the FCT shows another phase of panic buying, with stations in the city center still selling within the price band. However, with queues building up.
No, we are not increasing for now. We are selling 165 per litre now.
Right now, you can see the price is 165 naira per litre. And in most places that I've heard as well, is still maintaining the same reduced price, not the new price. So there's no need for panic, really.
No, the public need reassurance about the possibility and availability of fuel so that people can move into the filling station and buy fuel.
The situation is, however, completely different from what we found in most petrol stations in the Gwarimpa area of Abuja.
Government did not increase fuel price. I have not seen it on the news that they increased fuel price. So I don't know why the meter is going up and down. When I came, I saw 170, now I'm seeing 165, so I don't know what is happening. You understand? Maybe the meter is doing magic. Government should put her into this spot.
I bought it 200 naira now. Inside the filling station.
This Oando?
Yes, this Oando here.
Where is this area?
This is Gwarimpa, I think is 3rd Avenue, I guess. Make me feel bad because I woke up this morning only to discover that there's no fuel. What's the reason for the queue? No one can explain. I don't understand.
All efforts to get a confirmation or a denial from the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, PPPRA, proved abortive. For now, however, we are told that the ex-depot price remained the same without any increase.
NNPC stands by that statement that we are not increasing the ex-depot price in the month of March. And that is still the position of things. It has not changed.
At the time of filing in this report, NTA News gathered that the PPPRA has since deleted the template announcing the alleged increase in pump price from his website. We also ran into a theme from the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, inspecting stations to ensure compliance with the actual running price band of 161 naira to 166 naira per litre. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Thank you, Lydia. And now let's join our correspondent in Kaduna for a situation report on the abduction, where Abdullahi Suleiman Rigachukum is standing by. Abdullahi, what's the update concerning the remaining 30 students?
Well, actually, the update concerning the remaining 30 students is still really not clear, because that was the information released to us, the press, by Kaduna State Commissioner of Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan. But then the security, surveillance is still going on right there in the bush. And you can understand that because the den of these kidnappers is known terrain for the various armed forces here in Kaduna. I'm talking about the Air Force, the Army, and the police, because that is where they usually do their operational trainings. Right now, out of the initial number released to the press by Kaduna State government, that is 180 rescued, 42 female students, and then these 30 that you have just mentioned are the ones still, in the captivity of their abductors. So presently, we are awaiting the return of this number of students, those who are receiving treatment at a health facility here in Kaduna, and what is presently on ground at the school and even on the route linking Kaduna to Birnungwari is heavy security presence, both on air and ground. And at any moment, we are expecting a release, formal release from the security agencies in Kaduna State and likewise the Kaduna State government regarding the fate of these 30 students that are still in the captivity of the kidnappers. So that is the situation as at now.
So does that mean that contact with family members of the kidnapped students has not yet been established? Do you have any details about that?
Well, actually, contact has been established with the family members. Early in the morning, most of the students, some of their family members were here at the gate. They even entered into the school. But later, the security on ground, told them to leave because they are still investigating, and also the school is cordoned. So actually, contact is established, but not contact between the parents and the abductors. That one, we have not gotten that one for now, but I believe whatsoever is the contact that has been established, in the next 1 or 2 hours, it will be communicated to the public and it will be made known to us. But it is instructive to also note that Kaduna, being the miniature Nigeria or the center of northern Nigeria, has been where northern governors have been holding series of meetings, and several decisions were also taken regarding how they want to handle or they intend to handle this security problem, the kidnapping and banditry attacks. And we can recall that, the governors during their last meetings agreed that they are going to engage the bandits with heavy security operations, and that we are waiting to see because heavy security have been deployed to the bush in order to rescue these 30 students that are still in the captivity of the kidnappers.
Thank you very much, Suleiman. Do keep us updated. Now let's join Salamatu in our Kaduna Network Center for more updates.
Najatu, and welcome to Kaduna. A combined team of security operatives in Kaduna are conducting an operation to track and rescue the students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Africa, who were kidnapped last night. Achari Maxwell reports that parents have besieged the college in search of their loved ones.
The bandits broke into the institution by breaching a perimeter fence and then crossed about 600 meters to attack the first facility. About 30 students are yet to be accounted for.
Right inside there, we were able to go to see where the bandits, tried to defense. They break the fence, they penetrate into, and they took some of the students that are there in the hostels, and some of the female students, they took them away.
I heard that they kidnapped some students here yesterday, so I come to verify whether she's around.
I will pray that they will find where those children are, and they will bring these children back safe.
The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, says Following distress call, troops of the Nigerian army immediately moved to the school and engaged the bandits, resulting in the successful rescue of 180 citizens, 42 females, 8 staff, and 130 students.
Military and other security agencies are working around the clock. Some of the students that were rescued sustained injuries, just bruises within the school environment. They are presently receiving medical attention at a military facility.
A combined team of the Army, Air Force, Police and the DS are conducting an operation to track the missing students. In Kaduna, Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
In the meantime, Kaduna State Government has inaugurated Child Welfare and Protection Committee to guard the children against any form of abuse. Governor Nasser Ahmed El-Rufai charged the committee members to work hard in protecting the future leaders who deserve decent treatment. Muhammad Umar Ajingi tells us more.
These are the members of the Child Welfare and Protection Committee, comprising of judges, members of civil society organizations, and security agencies. They have the task of ensuring that children in Kaduna State are protected from any form of molestation. The State Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai asked the committee members to bring all stakeholders together, particularly parents, to fashion out ways of ending child abuse in the society.
So we are working on legislation that will put a cost, particularly on men who send up their women with the children and not taking care of the children. So my message to all those that have Almajiris in Kaduna State, you have a choice, relocate. Otherwise, sooner or later, we will get you.
The state government is currently building a center that will serve as temporary shelter for rehabilitation of children and women who suffer abuse. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
That is it from here. Nationwide continues with Naja'atu in Abuja.
Thank you, Salamatu. And still on security, as part of efforts to ensure unhindered operations of the rail transport sector, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has taken measures to stamp out vandalism along the rail tracks, resulting in the parade of some suspects for vandalizing rail track plates and other national assets. Robinson Deratide reports.
28 suspects involved in vandalizing rail track plates, oil well heads, as well as illegal oil bunkering were paraded by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Rivers State Command. 2 cars, cylinder fin torch, and saw blades were recovered from the vandals at different locations of the state. The Corps says Ace Railway Command and anti-vandal unit have put measures in place to prevent sabotage in the rail transportation sector.
It's based on this, our intensive patrol that all these suspects and exhibits were arrested. And I'm assuring you that we are going to double in our effort to ensure we protect all these critical national assets and infrastructure in the states.
To prevent further outbreak of fire incidents in Rivers State, the NNCDC advises the public against the sale and patronage of adulterated kerosene. The command urges the public to furnish it with suspected vandal operations around them. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratide, NTA News.
Meanwhile, governors of the People's Democratic Party have resolved to work with the federal government in its effort at restoring peace to troubled areas in the country. This was the thrust of their meeting held in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
It is the first physical meeting of the PDP Governors Forum in the new normal with strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. Although held behind closed door, the governors under the chairmanship of Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto State were joined by the National Working Committee of the party as well as members of the Senator Bukola Saraki-led National Reconciliation and Strategy Committee. Security, economy and issues bordering on moving the party forward topped the meeting agenda.
We must not play politics with security, and we must all work together to ensure that we bring back peace in our land. So we have agreed to continue to work with the federal government in that regard.
And from time to time, we will meet regularly to brief them so that where we need them to intervene, they will intervene. It's a very, very good meeting. Very, very good meeting.
Governor Tambuwal says they remain intact with none out of the 15 of them contemplating leaving the PDP. The party's board of trustees earlier met in Abuja, where members restated commitment to playing the role of the board as the conscience of the party. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Nigerians have been tasked to think of embracing global best practices in all endeavors to surmount the challenges of poverty and insecurity. Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibaju stated this at the pre-convocation lecture at the Sokoto State University, saying it's time for Nigerians to begin to think deeply about the alternative source of energy and calling on institutions to pay attention to the dynamics in the oil and gas sector. In the area of insecurity, the Vice President says emphasis is now on human security as it is about providing adequate security for the huge population of Nigeria, which government is faced with daily. It's time for a break now. When we return, Kehinde in Lagos will have more reports.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no more. I fell one country. Teacher no more. I fell one country. Omoni resiti ne.
Go na better school for last giddy. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We know happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
The second wave of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic is upon us.
To safeguard lives of our people, government has signed the health protection regulations, which makes wearing a face mask mandatory in public places.
Wear a mask. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water. And use hand sanitizer.
COVID-19 is real. Do not be infected. Do not spread it. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
their amazing run of 12 games unbeaten when they travel to Ellen Road. Will they succeed or will the streak come to an end? Find out as Leeds United welcome Chelsea this Saturday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Yes. 13 naval officers are currently facing trial for alleged civil and service offences before a court-martial in Lagos. The president of the court, Rear Admiral Zakaria Mohammed, at the inaugural sitting promised to uphold the tenets of fairness and justice in the proceeding, which prerequisite of fundamental human rights. Michael Olalaye reports.
13 accused persons present in court may have permission to drop the sword and stand them at the sword.
The court-martial is in line with the military justice system instituted for the trial of accused personnel under the principle of fundamental human rights on fair hearing. This proceeding is constituted under the authority of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awai Gambo, to hear and determine the case of 13 naval officers. Despite being a military setting, the court still reserves the right to avail each of the 13 officers access to defense counsels with the promise that justice will not be misplaced.
Let me therefore state that the 13 accused personnel are presumed innocent unless proven otherwise by the prosecution counsel. May I also emphasize that this general court-martial will uphold the tenets of fairness and firmness in the course of the trials, so that at the end of the trials, justice will not only have been done, it will also be seen to have been done.
The court will summon any witness it deems necessary in addition to the ones listed in the list of prosecution witnesses. Submission of proceedings. The court is to submit 4 bound copies of the record of proceedings to the convening authority not later than April 2021.
The president of the court said justice is the watchword and will determine the length of when the case will be concluded. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Imaginative activities for young learners can lead to better skill in social interaction and emotional regulation. This was the crux at the art painting competition for secondary schools in Lagos, organized by the National Museum and Monument Unikon. Imole Ayo Tukide Ogunfowara has details. These are 40 students from 20 schools in Lagos. They consist of the junior and secondary school categories. The task for them is to replicate their knowledge of the COVID-19 pandemic in their painting, keeping in mind the theme, COVID-19, the world reset.
These two black are representing social distancing, since we could not really go close to anyone during this period.
I wrote the problems, and when coronavirus started, it showed us that many people thought, oh, the world was going to end, maybe something like that. So I put this cross here to signify that I think many people believed in God more.
The curator, National Museum Lagos, Omotayo Adeboye, says the competition is aimed at examining the ingenuity and creative skills of students.
The impact this pandemic had on us, it's a new normal. Today, you can't do your things the way you used to do it. So that is what we want the children to use their imaginative skill to paint around.
The 2-day event, which will avail the students' interaction with professional artists at the final stage of the competition, will see the overall winner go home with a new laptop, while the first and second runner-up will be compensated. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokide Ogunfowara, NTA News. And that's our contribution from Lagos. Najati is back to you.
Thank you, Kehinde. The federal government says the circumstances leading to its taking possession of the £4.2 million Ibori loot was determined by international law and not by any local variable. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami made this known to our correspondent Femi Okewu in an exclusive interview. The report.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody.
Since Tuesday, when the Nigerian government signed an agreement with the United Kingdom for the return of £4.2 million illicit funds recovered from the former Delta State Governor James Ibori, members of his family and friends, suggestions have come from some people that the money be returned to the Delta State government instead of being expended on some federal projects as stated in the bilateral agreement. But Justice Minister told NTA News that possession of the loot cannot be as simplistic as the claimants want to make it now, when records of proceedings in the British court leading to the seizure showed that the Delta State government at that time denied the loss of any funds.
It's not an exclusive function of the laws applicable in Nigeria, but it is a collection of those consideration, local and foreign law. So in essence, before now, when in fact the case was being prosecuted against Ibori in UK, papers were filed, court processes were filed by people, inclusive of the Delta State government, where they disown the money. And eventually, there was conviction. And then Nigeria as a nation, and not Delta State as subnational, was now adjudged to be a victim of crime. Delta State government filed in court processes denying that any money was lost from the state corpus. So in effect, arising from that, after conviction, Nigeria being a victim of crime, and not Delta State for that matter, came to roundtable discussions and negotiations with UK as to the application of the money, and it was agreed that yes, we are returning this money. Yes, Nigeria is agreed to be a victim of crime against the background of denial by Delta State government, among others, and then yet this money should be applied for the benefit of Nigerians, Nigeria being the victim of crime.
The agreement is to the effect that the money is to be repatriated to Nigeria within 2 weeks of the signing of the agreement. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has upheld the conviction of former Governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dare, upon which he was jailed for 14 years. The Apex Court, however, quashed the criminal misappropriation of public funds, which earned him a jail term of 2 years. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chimwuba reports.
The Court of Appeal had in 2018 convicted and sentenced the former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dare, for 10 years for diverting 1.162 billion naira. He was charged for criminal breach of trust and misappropriation of public funds. Not satisfied with the decision of the lower court, he brought this appeal, praying the Apex Court to upturn his conviction. Delivering the judgment in an appeal filed by the former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dare, Justice Helen Ogumi held that the Court of Appeal and the FCT High Courts were right in their concurrent findings on the criminal breach of trust filed against the governor. Justice Ogumi, in a unanimous judgment prepared by Justice Ejembieko, which she read, however, disagreed with the two lower courts on misappropriation of public funds and subsequently quashed the charge. The misappropriation of public funds brought against Dare under Section 309 of the Penal Code carries a maximum of 2 years imprisonment.
The offense of criminal breach of trust has been proven. He will serve the sentence for criminal breach of trust, which is 10 years.
The appeal court had, however, faulted the trial court for convicting Dare on counts 12 and 23, which it said the prosecution did not prove. It also faulted the trial court for imposing the maximum sentences on both offenses of criminal breach of trust and criminal misappropriation. In Abuja, Vera Chimwuba, NTA News.
And to environmental matters now. The cleanup of Ogoni land has been a major project for successive administrations in Nigeria. However, the present administration has given a new lease of life to the people through the implementation of the cleanup with the inauguration of a new governing council and board of trustees for the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, HYPREP. Onengie Fineface reports.
Flag off of the Ogoni cleanup exercise in June 2016 marked the commencement of the long journey to the restoration of hydrocarbon pollution impacted communities in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria, as recommended in the UNEP report on Ogoni land. So far, out of the 21 contracts awarded in the first phase of remediation works, 15 lots have been completed and certified, while work is ongoing in other sites. For improved performance, the federal government inaugurated a new governing council and board of trustees for the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, HYPREP.
You will be required to promote transparency, propriety, and integrity in the operation of HYPREP to ensure optimal and satisfactory delivery of the required services.
This is a new dawn and a refreshing era of elevated federal government presence in Ogoni land with lasting positive impact on the living conditions of the good people of Ogoni land.
It's a clear indication of the resolve of the federal government to allow our people hold the entire process of the cleanup. We have never had it so good. Thank you, Mr. President.
The Federal Executive Council, early March 2021, approved contracts for 6 water supply schemes at a total cost of 6.05 billion naira to provide potable water for communities impacted by the pollution. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
Similarly, for the country to mitigate the devastating effects of all sorts of pollution, the Nigeria Interreligious Council is urging government to strengthen and enforce legislation, particularly to enable the respective regulatory authorities address and combat prevailing environmental challenges. In a statement by the Executive Secretary, NIREC, Professor Cornelius Omonokwa, attributes Nigeria's environmental pollution to improper disposal of domestic waste, wrongful or excessive use of agro-allied chemicals, which mostly wash down the hydro sources, causing blockage to waterways and consequently flooding. The statement says emissions of carbon monoxide from automobiles and oil spillage are responsible for the death of most plants and aquatic animals, impacting negatively on the means of livelihood of the host community. NIREC is asking for stiffer penalties for such violations as indiscriminate burning of bushes. This is nationwide on the network service of the NTA. It's time for a break. We'll return with more reports.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Lobo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion. 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703.
Join us.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather, we ball. We hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTA Network every Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Chelsea look to continue their amazing run of 12 games unbeaten when they travel to Ellen Road. Will they succeed or will the streak come to an end? Find out as Leeds United welcome Chelsea this Saturday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for staying with Nationwide. Former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Austin Okpara, has eulogized the sterling leadership qualities of Governor Wike and joining him to remain focused and committed to the development of the state. Former Deputy Speaker spoke during the Omuewiche-Omuku Link Road in Ikwere local government area of the state.
Omuko-Omokre is a major link road that connects three communities of Alo and the outside world. For many decades, the road, which is important to the agrarian communities, has been a nightmare. However, all that is history with the reconstruction and dualization of the road. Governor Wike says rebuilding the road for Alo people is to pay them back for supporting his administration.
When I started the whole journey, I know I came to Alo. And they promised me they will stand with me, they will stand by me, they will work with me. And they never failed me. When you do for me, I do for you because it's an agreement.
Former Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives Austin Okpara extolled the painstaking efforts of the governor towards the development of the state.
But let me assure you, Excellency, Rivers people are praying and we believe that God will hear our prayer. God will give you the opportunity and deliver these things for the nation to understand.
The road is 6.1 meters long with a width of 7.3 meters, built with drains and other facilities that makes the road standard for the motoring public. In Alo, Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, Ogedinye Ikwere, NTA News.
287 new cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in Nigeria in the last 24 hours. In the figures released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the new infections are from 17 states and the FCT, with Lagos State having the highest number at 180 cases. A state-by-state figure shows that Kwara State is second with 26 new cases, then Akwa Ibom with 23, Bauchi 22, Ogun 21, Rivers 19, Kaduna 14, the FCT 11, Abia and Edo 8 each. Others with new infections are Ekiti 6, Kano 5, Gombe and Oshun 4 each, Oyo and Plateau 3 each, Nasarawa 2 and Delta 1. With this, Nigeria now has 159,933 confirmed cases of COVID-19, out of which 142,404 have been treated and discharged, while 2,001 have died of the virus. Meanwhile, the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, says the agency is aware of precautionary concerns being raised regarding one specific batch of the AstraZeneca vaccine, ABV 5300. In a statement, Dr. Shuaib says investigations are being conducted to determine if the batch is in any way linked to an observed side effect. but clearly states that Nigeria did not receive any doses from the batch of vaccines of which concerns are being raised. The statement also says all side effects reported by those who have been administered have been mild, a satisfied clinical evidence indicating the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine to be safe and effective. The agency also says the assessment is in line with countries such as Spain and the UK, which have indicated that they will continue to administer the vaccine because it remains an important tool for protecting citizens against COVID-19. Dr. Shoaib says developments regarding the ABV 5300 batch are being monitored and further information will be shared as it becomes available, while encouraging Nigerians to prioritize the current phase and take the vaccine. The Zamfara state government has taken delivery of more than 55,900 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines, even as it rejects the figure on the pandemic situation in the state, recently released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
The Zamfara state share of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine and other related accessories were received and inspected by the State Commissioner for Health, Yahya Muhammad Kanuma, at the State Medical Store Gusau. The Commissioner says a total of 27,960 persons of 18-year-old and above across the state will be inoculated in 2 cycles, commencing with the frontline workers, top government officials, and traditional rulers.
We were given 55,920 doses of vaccine to Zamfara, which is equivalent, if it is to be given to frontline workers, 27,960 for 2 cycles. That is the consignment we received just now from Sokoto.
The inoculation exercise is built to commence soonest in some designated centers across Zamfara state, as some health workers are currently undergoing training on how to administer the vaccine. Meanwhile, Zamfara state government has rejected the figure on COVID-19 situation in the state released by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control.
We don't have any case. We are still index 0. To all my knowledge, with all my lieutenant here, I don't think we sent any sample this week.
The Commissioner for Health, however, says the state government is committed to safeguarding people in the state against the pandemic. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now, stakeholders in the health sector are in agreement with the House of Representatives on the need to improve health infrastructure in north-central Nigeria. This was highlighted at a public hearing held by the House Committee on Health Institutions. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The public hearing is pertaining to 2 establishment bills sponsored by the Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris, seeking the establishments of Jos Orthopedic Hospital and Federal Medical Center, Wasi, both in Plateau State. The orthopedic hospital is to service the needs of people of Taraba, Gombe, Bauchi and Plateau States.
The tertiary hospital that is there, Jos University Hospital, is overwhelmed with so many cases. So therefore, establishing an orthopedic hospital there will bring healthcare, specialized healthcare closer to the people.
It would be right to have one per zone, the federal zones of the country.
The provision of an additional public orthopedic center, as stressed at the hearing, will reduce the burden on the existing tree available in the country. In another development, House Committee on Agricultural Production and Services has engaged agencies on procurement procedure as they implement the 2021 budget, during which the chairman of the committee emphasized directing efforts to research to meet local food demands.
We spent no less than 6 billion naira on wheat per annum. And what we target, if we can get just 30% of that, 30%, if we can substitute it with our local wheat, then we have a we have a headway on that.
We believe that whatever happens comes from the research institutes for any improvement in our agricultural production.
Meanwhile, The winner of the Cross River North senatorial by-election and member House of Representatives, Senator-elect Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe, at a briefing says, having been affirmed by the Federal High Court and issued certificates of return by INEC, he hopes to be sworn in by leadership of the Senate soon.
And I know and I trust that the Senate leadership will do the needful.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now determined to reduce mortality and malnourishment among children in Gombe State, the wife of the governor, Asma'u Inua Yahya, has flagged off the distribution of complimentary food to beneficiaries. Zara Umar Adamu reports.
The theme of the occasion, Science, Technology and Innovation for Value Chain Addition in Nutrition Sector, is most appropriate and reflects the resolve of the Inua Yahya administration to meet the collective aspiration of the people through the provision of nutritious food for children. In collaboration with the Governor's Wife Foundation, Joel Care, and the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation, the narrative of Gombe State, rated among the most malnourished, will change using the resources that abound in the state to produce nutritious food to alleviate hunger among children.
Steps are being taken to engage the media to create awareness among parents and all within the community on the importance of preventing malnutrition.
We intend to do more in terms of collaborations and stepping down to local governments because the state alone cannot do it. So we inshallah step this down to local governments.
Representatives of the beneficiaries from various local government areas are optimistic that the supplementary food will no doubt address the health issues of malnourishment in children. The complimentary food is produced in collaboration with Accelerated Nutrition in Nigeria, Nutrition Unit of the Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, and NAFDAC. Zara Umar Adamu, NTA News.
Now, the National Commission for Persons with Disability has called on the Abia State government to hasten the passage of the disability bill currently before the State House of Assembly. Bukola Urubishi reports.
Special presentation by members of the Deaf Can Dance, talk show and dance sketch set the tone for the commencement of the summit with the theme 2021 to 2030 Disability Development Strategy, a pathway to sustainable development, put together by a New Hope Foundation in collaboration with the Abia State government. The Executive Secretary, National Commission for Persons with Disability, James Lalu, noted that the efforts of the presidency concerning persons with disability will be fed if the state government will prioritize concerns both politically, financially, and earthwise.
President Muhammadu Buhari has done his own. He has finished his own.
Other agitations by the disability group include provision of scholarship for persons with disability, more job opportunities, access to health facilities in the hospitals with interpreters, and improved welfare for the disabled.
We need more than enough qualified teachers for the deaf schools, and also to ensure that the secondary school for the deaf in other states is established.
It's my prayer that God will bless New Hope Foundation for coming with this mind-blowing program.
To help myself so that I can be a help to our society.
The Abia State Deputy Governor, Ude Okochukwu, who represented the governor, assured them that their request will be communicated to the state governor. There were presentations of awards. The deputy governor thereafter inspected the various handiwork of the disabled before presentation of empowerment items in Umuahia. Bukola Urubusi, NTA News.
An umbrella association of retired armed forces personnel, the Nigerian Legion, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his regular intervention and support in the welfare of legionnaires in the country. The national chairman, Nigerian Legion, Brigadier General Adakole Jones, gave the commendation at the 2021 National Council meeting in Abuja. With legionnaires from all states of the Federation, the National Council meeting was anchored on assessing efforts made by the leadership of the association towards addressing the welfare of armed forces retirees and revamping some of its organs for effective service to nation building. The Nigerian Legion was established by the Act of Parliament in 1964 by the Nigerian Legion Interim Management Decree 25. And now we'll take the next report.
A lot seems to have happened since the last Senate committee visited UBEC. And after hours of deliberations, Executive Secretary of Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, Dr. Hamid Boboyi, informed the committee members that more than 143 billion naira grants have been accessed by the states and FCT from 2017 to 2020 out of the 184.8 billion naira. No state has accessed the 2020 matching grant because of delay in the release of funds for capital projects occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. The 2020 matching grant was only due for access by states in January 2021. He listed non-release of funds among challenges facing the basic education sector.
States sometimes pay their counterpart funding, thinking that now, say 2021, you pay now, say in March. There's no way you can get the money. That's part of the problem. You can access it if you want quarterly, but the releases are monthly. So you cannot get the entire amount until the 31st of December.
Acting Chairman, Senate Committee on Basic and Secondary Education, Senator Akon Enyakenyi, said, UBEC is very important to the country's education system, as missing the foundation means missing everything.
Our concern is just to ensure that the 2020 budget is fully implemented, and that we will start early enough with the experience of 2020.
On out-of-school children, some members of the committee suggested the establishment of emergency schools in the northern parts of the country and urges the Commission to migrate to a smart school system to enable children to adapt to a technologically advancing world. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
That report was on the 41 billion naira basic education fund, which has not yet been accessed. Up next is Sports Update.
Thanks indeed for joining us on Sports Update. I am Bade Adeleye. Let's begin with this cherry news as the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, was on Friday elected into the FIFA Council at the 43rd General Assembly of the Confederation of African Football. The NFF boss, who defeated his only challenger, Walter Yamilando of Malawi, becomes the second Nigerian to be elected into FIFA Council after Amos Adamu. Pinnick was also elected the 5th Vice President of CAF after the number of Vice Presidents was increased to 5 from 3 by the Congress. South Africa's Patrice Motsepe was elected the new CAF President through acclamation after going unopposed. He becomes the first South African and English-speaking president of the Confederation. Meanwhile, match day 15 games of the Nigeria Professional Football League will be decided this weekend, with Lobby Stars entertaining Plateau United in Makudi. Abia Warriors are at home to Kano Pillars. MFMFC host Enyimba International, with leaders Kwara United and Heartland trading tackles. The encounter between Jigawa Golden Stars and Akwa United has emerged a doubt after players and officials of the Promise Keepers were involved in an auto crash on their way to Kaduna on Friday. And to England now, where Chelsea will be bidding to make it 3 Premier League wins in a row when they play away to Leeds United at Elland Road on Saturday, with the match live on NTA Network from 1 in the afternoon. 3 more matches will come up on Saturday, while on Sunday, Sheffield United begin live after Chris Wilder, who left his post as the manager of the Blades on Friday with a trip to Leicester City, with Arsenal and Tottenham facing off in the North London derby. And that concludes Sports Update. I am Bade Adeleye.
And Sports Update concludes nationwide. Thanks for watching. Keep staying safe and keep standing with NTA against rapists.